Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome to our webinar of today, Fun is Not Illegal, Building Culture Inside Law Firms. Today, we have two amazing speakers, Jessica VanTroost and Susan Van Wingen from McGlinchey Stafford. I will let them introduce themselves and take it from here. They're amazing, and they have a really fun webinar to go through today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. Thanks for joining us today. We are talking, I think I speak for Susan and I when I say we are talking about our what we are most passionate about, and the best part of our job is fun. Um, Susan, do you want me to dive into how we got started, or you want to do that part?
Well, it kind of
Wait,
all
hold
started.
on. We're already off
Oh.
topic. We got to introduce ourselves. I already forgot. Sorry. Man, I'm just so excited. All right, well, we'll introduce ourselves real quick first and then we'll dive in. So my name is Jessica VanTroost. I am the Chief Strategy and Operations Officer at McGlinchey. I have worked here for almost 12 years, and I have journeyed through a couple of different positions and have worked across our different offices. We have 18 offices, and I get to touch all of them in some way, shape, or form in the different positions that I've had over the years, which is why I was asked to be on the Ministry of Fun. And then Susan, I'll let you introduce yourself.
So I've been with McGlinchey 6 years now. I work in business development, so I end up touching a lot of different practice areas and kind of am a little bit all over the firm. It's a lot of fun. It's never the same every day. And kind of because of that and my penchant for crafting and creative nonsense, I got tapped to co-lead the Ministry of Fun with Jess. And in fact, our first order of business was when referred to in the plural with VanTroost and Van Wingen, we are the Fantastics, which our managing member loves to introduce us town hall meetings every time.
There's bedazzled jackets in on the way, but we haven't pulled it off yet. We keep threatening. I can't wait.
We're just looking for just the right reason.
So Ministry of Fun was born out of COVID, actually. It was one of the initiatives that came out of there. We started a program called the Wellness Works within our firm, and we started doing that during COVID when we were all sort of disconnected and we were finding ways for us to connect. And an offshoot of the Wellness Works committee at the time was a little seed that was planted called the Ministry of Fun. Our managing attorney likes us to be very clear. We did not come up with this name, Ministry of Fun. It was borrowed slash stolen from a friend that he knew from a managing partner forum that he's part of. And he heard the name. He did tell them that he was going to use it, all as well. But we have basically taken that name and made it our own. And so that's how Ministry of Fun got started. I was asked to work with Susan, which was super fun for me. Susan is the brains behind the operation in terms of the technical side of things. She is also the marketing guru. I say it and she makes it come into being in some sort of a graphic that I didn't even know. And we also borrow one of our other marketing people, Mary Pendarvis. Shout out to Mary. She helps us with our crazy ideas too.
We joke that she is moth adjacent.
She is moth adjacent. Speaking of, though it started with Susan and I, there is a committee that we have now. I think 5 or 6 of us in total. Susan and I still chair it, but one little, I guess, a graduation for MOF is, and we call it MOF, Ministry of Fun, MOF. It has graduated actually into its own being. So we have a new position that is our employee in engagement coordinator. And now this Ministry of Fun lives with her in this new position and has become its own thing from the Wellness at Works committee. And so it has its own little legs and stands alone now. So that's been a recent development, and we're super proud of that.
We're also excited that this is now going to be able to launch a lot more that we're able to do. Keep in mind, this is a volunteer position. Like all of us who are part of this committee, we all have real jobs that we are doing that we are paid to do. This is what we do with, extra overtime, weekend, evening things. just to keep everything fun and lighthearted and build the camaraderie that we have been known for.
Yes. So the initial charge of our Ministry of Fun group was to find ways for our 18 offices and I don't know 300 and some employees to connect in whatever way that they have interest in. So that was our charge. Find ways for our people to connect. So, not specific at all. So,
They gave us a
Susan,
lot of freedom, which was very
it,
brave of
it did.
them.
So we have done all kinds of different things over the years, and we're going to talk about those different things that we were going to do. But initially, also, besides having absolutely no structure other than to go forth and do this, we had a $0 budget. We had to go forward, do this, and have no money while we were doing it. So the first thing we did, because Susan's brain works in a marketing business development way, we had to have a logo.
We did. So it was very fun working with Mary. She gave us a bunch of iterations. And ultimately, we settled on this just play off of the McGlinchey logo mark, but with the little umlaut with two little dots that we love to have fun with. We swap it up for Halloween if we are doing something school or crafty related for our football groups and for holidays, of course. But that's also really fun is that we would never be able to do this to the actual McGlinchey logo. Mary would have a heart attack and we would never do that to her. But we have
Right.
free reign over our fun logo since it is just used internally. So that's always
Absolutely.
a fun thing. I challenge anybody to count how many times we are saying fun in all of this. Uh, but that is an excellent piece that we get to mess around with. And quite frequently it's like, oh, hey, I was messing around in Word or PowerPoint, or I found this fun graphics thing. What do you think? And we will take it and absolutely run with it.
Yeah. We use footballs for the different sporting seasons, basketballs. It really is quite a versatile logo.
Yeah, this is not all, but we just want to give you an idea of what you can do with something. Just the simple word fun.
Also, speaking of football, you may have noticed my little buffalo headband because fun is not illegal, and I'm allowed to wear things like this all the time. So go Bills! Just a shout out. We'll get to the football stuff later, but in case you're wondering why I have giant buffaloes coming out of my head, there you go.
So
Uh,
essentially, year one, we started zero budget. They were like, see what you can use with what we've got. And, let's see what we can do for the low price of free 99. Or, if there is something you need, bring it to us and we will see where we can go. So the big thing to remember here is that culture building doesn't require a big budget. Everything we're going to talk about that we did in our first year, we did for free. I think the biggest thing is that we were able to redeem some of the corporate credit card points for gift cards that we used for prize items and also like McGlinchey's branded swag.
Absolutely.
So
So if you're looking to just do like little gift cards, check out your credit card points. That's always a an
it's also
easy
amazing what
lift.
people will do for a $5 or $10 gift card, like
Oh
just
my
a little
gosh.
incentive and acknowledgement that I did a thing. Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in the first year, we utilized Zoom very heavily. We were all, everybody was under like the work from home orders. So it's like, we cannot do these office get-togethers. Well, okay, this then also gave Moth the opportunity to not do things by specific McGlinchey office, but across all of our offices across the United States, which was excellent because people are like, I've only ever emailed you, and now I see you on trivia on Zoom, and this is amazing.
Yeah.
We were also lucky that we had a trivia platform that was paid for by another department, but was good for a whole month. So once they were done, they were like, here you go. You have it until the month runs out. Do what you like. I think that was when we started doing lunchtime lightning trivia. 30 minutes over lunch hour-ish, keeping in mind that we have offices from Irvine to Boston and New York. So kind of trying to work that out with the time zones and shifting it up a little bit. Sometimes it's within lunchtime for California. Sometimes it's within lunchtime for Nashville. Sometimes in lunchtime for Boston. Just kind of like making that easily accessible for people. But we did that weekly for that whole month, and people were like begging for more.
Yeah.
It's in 30 minutes was so easy. Like that was an easy commitment for people. And there were some who just came to watch and enjoy. Like they're like, I don't care about trivia, but this looks like a lot of fun.
And that's a good point, Susan. One of the things that Susan and I and then the committee discussed early on was um, just finding and thinking of ways where people can belong and find belonging or being included in whatever way they wanted to be. So we thought of it as, pull up a chair wherever you feel comfortable and you should feel included and like you belong at the table that you choose. And so that was sort of the basis of how we started picking our ideas. And it was honestly things that we were interested in or that others were interested in that were on the committee. And we started there. So it didn't have to be, we didn't come out with crazy ideas right out of the gate. We worked our way up to those.
That comes to our big point of if is something that you are considering starting within your firm, authenticity is key. Like I could never, ever in a million years write a football game right up the way that Jess does. I enjoy participating in it, but I don't have that passion. Some of her write-ups deserve awards. They are fantastic.
You're very sweet.
My
But the other
particular
side is
passion
I
is
couldn't
in,
do what you do. There's no way. So have
yeah,
complementary skill sets for
we've
sure.
also had people who have come like, hey, I really love this for an idea. Would the moth be interested in doing it? And we're like, the moth would be interested in supporting you in doing this. You have the passion for this particular project. Let's talk it out and see how we can support you in this and, bring you into that moth adjacent fold. And, because they have that enthusiasm and authenticity for that initiative or activity, that gets other people excited about it who may be like, well, I can take it or leave it. But when they see how excited I get about the snack it and that I am like trying to rally votes for Kit Kats or how Jess is like Buffalo Bills from like
Yes.
pregame, early season to the entire postseason. This is
Let's
our
hope it's the
authentic
whole
selves that we are
postseason.
bringing. I throw in
Uh,
my Go Lions when I can.
you are a passionate Lions fan, but that's another thing. So we started with the trivias and the easy things like that, and this was probably I think it was, I mean, around COVID. So it was like early spring or late spring, early summer was when we really got started. So we then moved to, the fall. Football season was a very easy thing. I brought the idea, said, hey, I do this for the offices that I manage. And when we used to do it with paper and pen and everyone, then they would scan them to me. So we've moved a long way to an online platform. We've used a bunch of different ones. I think right now we're using Pool Host if you're looking for one. It is super easy to set up. And by the way, anything that we shoot out here, if you have any follow-up questions on, we're happy to talk about it, walk you through any of that stuff.
In fact, get your pens and papers ready. We're going to run through a list of
Yeah,
the zero budget initiative activities that we launched in the first year to kind of like give you guys some brainstorming ideas.
perfect. Go for it, Susan.
Yeah, so really low, easy hanging fruit. We started a book club. One book a month. We kind of tried to go back and forth between either fiction, nonfiction, kind of, offering people, if this is your speed this month, join us to talk about it. If it's not your speed, that's cool. We'll see you in a month or two when another book sounds great. Quite frequently, we don't have a huge participation in our monthly Zoom discussions, but when I'm at conferences or around our attorneys, I will get so many of them going, oh my gosh, I read the September book. It was so good. They allowed them use them just as a reading list or as a suggestion. And then they are
Yeah.
also able to talk about those books with their coworkers in the office, even if they aren't joining the official book club discussion.
It's true. And that was an unintended consequence of the book club that we were pleasantly surprised to find out that people were doing, and that there was a lot more sort of participation than the go to the 30-minute meeting each month. Though we do have we call it a small but mighty group, but it is a lot of fun. Also, now we take recommendations from anyone that comes to the meetings. If you read a good book, you can submit recommendations at any time.
Yes. Um, we also kind of tried an initiative, which we tried. At one point, we had one of our IT support guys was part of the Ministry of Fun, and he was not a super big reader, but he was into serial TV shows and movies, and so he got behind and he tried to start up something called the Not a Book Club, where they would, assign a TV series or a movie. Everybody watches it by, a certain time and then get together. The couple of people he had were really excited, but eventually it just kind of fell a little flat. There wasn't as much enthusiasm as he had for it, which was fine. Some people are book readers, some people are TV movie people. But
You
it was
never know what's going to
we
work.
we
You got to
tried
try.
out. It was fun. It was very exciting. Now, another initiative he did, which went over really well,
Yeah.
is he would hold these monthly, and he would call it Lunch with the IT Guy. And he would go over, especially with everybody working from home. It's like, here's a diagram of how Wi-Fi routers work and why you have this constant dead zone in your house. He went over how wireless printing basically works and why you can't be in the garage printing to your office at the other end. Similarly, he did a session on, how to cut the cord from cable and the various streaming services and how to set up a Roku stick, which was really enthusiastic. There was a lot of people at
There's
that
a
one.
lot of people in that one.
There was. And then at the end, he just kind of put together, a holiday tech gift idea list, as vetted by your IT guy. It's like, okay, you want to get, your parents an iPad. Here's why they don't need the super fancy iPad Pro, and iPad Air is probably best for FaceTiming the grandkids or you. And you put some really good reasoning behind that. That it was just like, we put it out on our company intranet, and people were like, oh, I don't have to put in a ticket with the IT guy. They loved it. They ate it up. It was really great.
Very good.
Um, with later in the fall, we put together around Thanksgiving what we are still running and calling the McGlinchey Family Meal Cookbook. Every other year, we solicit recipes from everybody across the firm, and we put it together into our McGlinchey Family Meal Cookbook. Every other year, we tend to do a fundraiser, but the amount of good things and just fun little anecdotes you get from people when submitting their recipes is so wholesome.
Yeah. The reasoning behind, their grandmother or their aunt's recipe was really we're basically humanizing people to each other, right? And there's different ways that people find to connect. Like some people are readers, so the book club. Some people really like cooking. I am not some people. I could have a kitchen missing from my house and I would not probably take me a week to notice. But to each their own, finding the ways that make people tick and what they like, and that became a touch point for people or a connecting point for people. Well,
Yep.
you have the logo up there, but the
Yep.
national days, if you're not doing those, that's the lowest hanging fruit that there is.
Oh my goodness. Google national weird holidays, national
Yes.
days. You get National Iced Tea Day, Ice Cream Day, Talk Like a Pirate Day. You can take a list of any of those and do things with them. We did do a National Iced Tea Day. You can see we had the offices. Each office has like a little bit of a budget for employee engagement and stuff. So we're like, hey, whatever works for your office. New Orleans, you're probably going to need some gallons of tea. You have 100 people in that office, give or take. You
Yeah.
know, Irvine has a handful, so go and get some really nice artisan California tea. Um, and that kind of
Yes.
then works with our RAs to be able to be like, this fits for my office within the framework of what the MOF is putting together.
Susan, someone in the chat asked how we share the cookbook. Can you talk from the technical
Oh,
side?
we send it out via email as a PDF, but we also have it hosted on our document management system in the public file so anybody can go and grab it. It also gets posted, a link to it on our company intranet on our little MOF page there. So anytime it's like, oh my goodness, my in-laws are coming and I need to cook something really impressive. I remember Anne in New Orleans submits like 10 recipes a year. I'm just going to cook whatever Anne did. Um, so we have that there and we keep the volumes going each year. So this year was our third year of the recipes. So we now have 3 volumes of McGlinchey family meal recipes that you can comb through or just look at for inspiration as well. It's a little bit tried and true as opposed to finding recipes online and then you get down to the bottom of it and someone's like, oh, I didn't actually cook this. I just found it and I rewrote it. True story that happened to me the other night. And I was like, no, we can't use that recipe.
Also, anybody can contribute to the recipes, even if maybe you don't know where your kitchen is. So, for example, I just shared that I contribute the rolls and I drive to the store and I pick them up and I bring them, and everyone is happy. Me, the people who don't die from my cooking, everybody has a strength. So, you got to find your passion and go with it. So, but I think we would be lacking without the rolls. So it's still important.
I mean, all the sauces in the cookbook need to be mopped up by something. That's where the rolls come in to just close the game.
I agree.
We also do a fair number of just calls for photo submissions. People love the opportunity to submit and be part of something without
Show
having
off
to
their
be
creativity.
live on camera and all of
Yes.
this. So we love doing May the 4th, Star Wars Day on
Yes.
May 4th. It helps that our amazing managing member, Michael Ferracci, is a big Disney person and like actually encouraged us and provided this lovely picture of him and his wife in all of their Star Wars glory. But we encourage people like, I carried my little Grogu bag around all day. We had a couple little Grogus and Yodas, and we had an entire setup photo scene. Further from that, that was also when we had our trivia platform, and we did Star Wars trivia. Like people were so excited to be able to mess with the
People
filters
were
and the
really into
backgrounds
it.
on Zoom, which normally we don't do in a professional setting, but we're like, we're going to talk about Star Wars trivia for 30 minutes. Bring your weirdest Star Wars self. We love this.
Yes. People were very into it.
Further than that, we also do some things like, we did Kentucky Derby photos, like show us your best ponies and headgear. We quite do it frequently for, our standard holidays of Halloween. Show us your kids' pets, favorite house plant. Do you decorate your house? Do you have like a pumpkin carving contest with the neighborhood? And people will send us all kinds of wonderful things. We'll talk more about the holiday photos. But I think it might be time just to move to my very, very favorite.
I know. Well, before we get to the snack it, and this is our sort of signature thing that we're doing. I'm going to premise it by saying how we got to the snack it. So I'm going to tell that story, and then Susan's going to take over, and we're going to do our own little mini snack it for the rest of the time because this is supposed to be fun.
Yes,
So
your
you get a
voting
little
fingers,
taste
but
of it. So what we would do, we did I told you that we do the weekly pick 'em pool for football. Then that led us into March Madness. And for those of you who live in the South, I am a transplant from the North to the South. Basketball is what you do while you wait for the next football season to start. I had to tell people that in the South. They were very confused. In the North, I mean, March Madness is like is life. So that was kind of a funny thing. But we do the March Madness brackets. And those are pretty easy to set up, but they're we realized, and this was shocking to me, maybe not to Susan, she has more of a life than I do, but um, is a whole grouping of people out there who their whole lives do not revolve around sporting events. I don't know what they do with their time, but they have all this other time, and we thought, well, hey, we're not really hitting with the foot with the snack it or with the snacker bracket, we can grab those people into the fold. And so out of that and some brainstorming came the McGlinchey Snack It bracket. And I'll let Susan take over from here.
yeah, so it had originally started as like, oh, well, we'll pit the Super Bowl commercials against each other. Then I'm like, I barely have time to watch the commercials while they're on. I'm not going to hunt them down on YouTube. So we're like, well, what else could we do? We're like, what else goes with football and the Super Bowl snacks? If you know me, if it's not the Saints or the Detroit Lions, I'm there for the food. Um, so we ended up coming up with the snack bracket, the Snack It, in which we pit 32 snacks against each other. The entire firm votes, and we crown our snack of the year. And we have done it in different iterations. So for this year, we did it, the regions were salty, sweet, spicy, and sour. Last year was McGlinchey's 50th anniversary, so we did snacking through the decades. The regions were the 1970s when McGlinchey started, the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. We did a lot of research
Yeah.
into which snacks first hit the markets within those decades to put them all against each other. And we start with 32 instead of the field of 64 because we do have day jobs. We have to focus on that, although there is a lot of smack talk that goes around among the snack it. I
Yes.
definitely tried to get Kit Kats to win this year. I was like trying to whip votes. They did not, unfortunately.
No. And I'll tell you
Um,
what, you find a lot about your coworkers when snacks are on the table.
oh my.
Also, there's some monsters among us. I just want you to know that not everybody snacks the way you think they should, and it's appalling at some points,
There was
frankly.
one year we had an entire just like healthy
Oh,
region with
it
like
was tragic.
kale chips and sunflower seeds. Some years we ask, we're like, hey, submit your snacks, and we will
Yeah.
kind of see, where the temperature is in the firm. But you will always get that one person that's like, oh, I love edamame. It is my favorite snack. Or they'll try to convince us that nachos are a snack. I'm like, if it
Yes.
involves heating elements and other
Yeah.
foods, so sometimes we make a call on what is a snack and what is not a snack.
Yes.
But if we are ready, we are gonna run the snack it intermittently here. You guys will get to vote, and we'll see what ends up being the champion snack for Fun is Not Illegal. So we'll be coming back to this and fill it in as the polls are running. But the snack it is in year five, 4 or 5. It is one of our biggest, most beloved ones. Jess, you should talk about the side snack it that y'all do in
Oh,
Japan.
yes. Because if you've ever worked in a law firm, they're not competitive in any way, shape, or form at every angle. Like we can't do anything, right? So competing with the snack it itself was not enough. In Jacksonville which is where I'm located, we do a side snack it bet. So then we bet on what the outcome of the snack it's going to be, and that's a side bet that goes on the wall that we very meticulously score, and then a winner is crowned each because a win on top of a win just isn't enough for us. Um,
It is true.
People are creative. Well, and we should also say too, so our firm, we say we don't call a main office, but we are born out of New Orleans, right? So we have some fun in our roots, which is kind of where this comes from. We also have offices, as Susan said, across the country. So we like to let each office have their own identity, but under the McGlinchey umbrella. And so we try to find different ways where we can do this. Jacksonville, for example, we love to wear matching outfits or to dress up on any given day. You never know when you're going to need a turkey hat or, a flamingo cup, So we have all kinds of fun stuff like that. Also, who doesn't need a chicken wing necklace? Just in case you pull that out of your purse one day. So we try to incorporate that in, let people do what they have interest in, and in some offices, look, they're not dressing up, they're not doing anything, and that is okay too. But we do, that's where the whole mantra of fun is not illegal came out is it's okay to be your own identity, but also fun is not illegal.
Fun is not. And I love that you guys will send in pictures of all of your filled out snack it brackets to
Oh,
just let us
yes.
know that this is happening and we're going to see who is actually going to win this year.
And as it's evolved, I think it was year 3, we were starting to share that on LinkedIn the first couple of years, and we got some, questions from our people on LinkedIn that we knew or our clients. They were saying, how do we play along? We want to play, and so we actually ended up adapting it to a way where people online can click along and have fun with us too,
Yes, I
and
essentially run like a shadow snack it for the public and
yep.
anybody who wants to post it on their LinkedIn to see if their votes will match up with the McGlinchey votes. Unfortunately, they don't get snacks, just the McGlinchey folks do, but it is a lot of fun just to have people talk smack and be like, well, why didn't this make the bracket? Let me tell you, the year that somebody suggested pickles pig's feet as a snack, that
Yeah.
definitely came out of the New Orleans or Baton Rouge office, I believe, but I just could not in good conscience put that onto be snack it.
Yeah, that's for sure. You want me to dive into year 2 when we got a budget?
Yeah, let's dive into year 2. The Moth gets a budget.
All right. So,
While we keep people are voting.
all right, I'm gonna let you do that while people are voting. And keep voting along as we're going, and we'll get the snack it filled out as we go. Um, so year 2, we realized, hey, there's a few more things we'd like to do, and if we had a budget for this, we could make it happen. The first year, so I'm going to go back to the football pool as an example. We did we used our credit card points, and we used the credit gift cards from there. So that started. So we ended up moving that onto its own thing. And so with the way we do it, and I'm just going to give you ideas. You can do it any way you want. So first and second place, you win a gift card. And so we actually just do, oh, did you hear my Western New York A just come out right then? Actually. Um, so we do where we just email them the gift card now. So again, you can do it remotely. We can do it from wherever we are. Um, so we would do first and second place prizes. I think the first year we just did first place because we had a very limited budget. Year two, we added second place, and then we wanted to really make it available, like where anybody could win. Um, Even though truly you don't have to be super good at the football pool, and in fact, some weeks where you don't know anything about it, those are the ones that pick the upsets, and they tend to rise to the top. But we wanted something where anybody could win. So we came up with a wild card prize. And we jump all over depending on what's going on in the world, what's going on in sports. And so today's wild card, actually today I did the end of the football pool for week 13. Today I did the wild card was 30th place because the Rockefeller Christmas tree is at 30 Rockefeller Place, and I did a write up on the holiday tree and where it came from and that kind of stuff. So we use all different ones. I did a funny one a couple weeks ago. I was waiting to use this one, but you know the whole 6-7 thing. I know everyone is literally collectively groaning. I can hear you even though I can't hear you. So I did one that wild card was 67th place, and so we just look around for funny things that are happening in the world. Or at McGlinchey, we do a consumer finance conference, and it would so one year each week I'll do whatever year that is, 22, 23, 24th year, whatever it is. And so I incorporate McGlinchey stuff in too, so you can really make it whatever you want it to be. That prize is a $25 credit to our McGlinchey store. So that does a couple of things for us. It one gives people a prize, but two, it drives traffic to our McGlinchey store and allows people to buy the t-shirts they want or the coats they want or whatever, which is our logo out there into the world, right? But it also gets some interest in that whole McGlinchey platform. Now I know not everyone has that, but if you do, that's one idea and opportunity for you. Um, okay, let's see. What else do we do? We did the road show. This is when the road show really became a thing. So, and I'm going to be fully honest with you here. We borrowed the road show idea from something I saw on LinkedIn. For a company did it. They were doing a little road show and they had a little logo. And I was like, hey, we could do this and make it our own for McGlinchey. And so we did that, and it was basically a step challenge. And we do multiple variations of this each year. Sometimes we're on teams, sometimes it's individual, but we do all kinds of different things. A couple of years ago, we did roadshow where we walked to each of our offices. So this is the map that we use. And again, if you're noticing, we have the McGlinchey color theme throughout this, right? And so we use those for all of our maps and things. And again, this might not be like step one for you. I'm just showing you how you can make it your own. And again, I did not do the graphics. I have no, if this was me, it would be like written on a piece of paper and be like, here's the roadshow. So, but we have a little logo that we use, which is the shield over on the left-hand side of your screen. And then those are each of our offices that we have. And we started at one, and we basically collectively put in our steps, and we walked to each of our offices. And when we got to each office, we did a little write-up on the office. Hey, we've reached the Albany office. Here's some fun facts about the people that work in our Albany office. And here's a few fun things to do. Um, Here's a few fun things to do while if you find yourself in Albany, New York. I don't know why you would, but you could. Just kidding. I'm from Western New York. I love Albany, New York. But you just never know when you're in all the different offices. People used it as a guide. We also then took that information and we put it onto our SharePoint. We have SharePoint office pages. So we used some of that information that we collected from the local people. Hey, we're coming to your town. Tell us a few fun things to do there. And we used it on our SharePoint. So you can use it in multiple different ways. What do you want to do? Pets. The pets are the easiest, most fun. So a couple of years back, we did and sorry, I'm doing a lot of the talking so that Susan can
Nope.
keep up with the with the
You are good.
snack
I
I
have done
prepping.
my talking.
Okay. So we made pet bandanas, and I will tell you, all in, we ordered some small bandanas and some large bandanas. And I think it was maybe $600. And I'm giving you like rough numbers so that you can estimate some ideas for what you're doing. So we did not spend a ton of money on this. We still have these bandanas to this day, and we give them out to any new employee who starts who has pets. But this was a huge hit, probably one of our most participated in events. And we just made little McGlinchey Employee of the Month bandanas for our pets. We passed them out. Anybody who wanted them, we sent them to them or we handed them out. And we asked that they just send us a picture. So this is how it started. This was part of our graphic for that. I mean, look at the participation that we got. We got to learn about people's pets. There is no, I think, greater common ground than talking about people's pets. They love to talk about them and people love to listen.
Or your
Um,
Roomba that you treat as a pet and got their
yes,
employee of the month, which to be fair, if you were at home during lockdown, your Roomba was your
yes. We
employee
got
of the
all
month.
kinds of crazy ideas for sure. And so we really had a huge response to that. So we did a like a picture montage that you could click through and you could see all the different pets. The other thing was people had horses. They had gotten the thing on the horse. Like
Yeah.
you learned so much about people's passions and the animals that they had and kind of parts of their lives. So it was really, really neat. This now has evolved. Like I said, we had the bandanas left over. So now we have someone from our Ministry of Fun just happens to be in HR, and she does the initial McGlinchey policies and procedures chat with new employees. And she hits on when she goes onto our SharePoint page, she hits on, hey, this is our pet slideshow essentially. If you'd like, I'll send you, if you have any pets, we'll send you the bandanas and we'll feature your pet on our SharePoint page. Do you know what people will do for their pet on a SharePoint page? They think it's awesome. Like I think they cut it out, put it on the fridge. It's a big fun thing to celebrate. Plus, right off the bat, you get them engaged with our SharePoint page, engaged with other employees learning about them and what their pets' names are. So they're in the fold right off the bat. What else? Super Bowl squares. So we also do Super Bowl squares. So we do the football pool up until Super Bowl. We take a week off and then we go into Super Bowl squares. The one caveat slash HR warning we will put on this is technically Super Bowl squares are gambling. We do not collect any money, but we err on the side of caution. So that is the one thing where you have to opt in to participate. It's free for every employee, and we do run two pools usually because we do have over each
Yeah.
pool is 100 people. If you want a football pool sheet. I already have one created. I can send it to you. We put our colors on it. It's pretty and all polished, and then we send them out. But each person gets a square assigned to them if they opt in. So there's a little bit of labor involved just from having to have people opt in, but it's pretty easy. You just pop the names in, and we give out gift cards for each quarter. And then if you are if you have a winning square, if you know how Super Bowl squares work, you have a winner, and if you're touching on the top, bottom, or left or right of the winning square, we give you, I think it's $5 credit to our McGlinchey store. A, moving traffic to the store, allowing people to be able to buy t-shirts and get $5 off of our t-shirts, or whatever they want to be able to wear at the office. We allow that. And I actually have one of those t-shirts on today. But we allow people to wear them, and have some fun with that.
Not to
So
toot our own horn, but I think because we end up giving out so much credit to the McGlinchey store itself as prizes or incentives, we have seen over the last couple of years an increase in the amount of money or paycheck deductions that our employees have spent in the store, wanting to spend their hard-earned money to put the McGlinchey name out there on cups, bandanas, t-shirts, sweatshirts, etc. That is a huge marker in that, it used to be nobody bought anything, and now all of a sudden we're having to restock t-shirts
Yeah.
multiple times a year. We're having people request different types of cups that will fit in their cup holders or will be great for like their kids' soccer games.
Yeah.
It's really exciting to see that engagement happen just because we're giving you $5 here, $10 there.
It really was a great initiative. I couldn't agree more. It also, we do some other fun events like in our offices. We'll do an employee appreciation event. Maybe we'll go to a baseball game or make pottery, whatever it is. We start our shirts to that event, and then it makes for a nice picture. We also use these pictures on our Instagram page. And that is how we show our culture. We specifically use our Instagram page to show our culture of the firm. And that has been a great success too. So while we are recruiting, and I'm jumping ahead in the presentation, I'm gonna get my hand slapped, but this is one of the ways that if I'm interviewing someone and we're talking about our culture a little bit, 'cause it's very important to us, and I'll say, hey, if you want to see more about our culture or a good snapshot, go check out our Instagram page. You can see the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever you want to look at, of what we have done and kind of the different initiatives that we've ran.
Visiting our Instagram is kind of the equivalent of us saying, come over for dinner and hang out with me in the kitchen, and we're going to chit chat while we are finishing up. This is not the meet the parents of our website.
Yes.
We're going to sit in the very formal parlor and speak only. It's like, no, we're going to grouse and we're going to talk and joke. You get a really good feel for our firm culture by looking at our Instagram.
Exactly. Okay, so we also did we talked about photo submissions. One that we didn't talk about, we got some requests for sort of a charity component to Ministry of Fun, kind of they want, feel good. And we've looked at some different things, and we ended up starting an initiative called Do Good to Feel Good. And we use this in a couple of different ways, but the one that's really been the most impactful and I think people have enjoyed the most is called a school supply fundraiser. So Do Good to Feel Good. And we do it anywhere from late summer to the beginning of fall, right in that back to school range, which I learned once I moved from the north to the south that actually is a very wide range. Some people go back to school in August. That was very confusing to me, having grown up in the north where we didn't go back to school until after Labor Day. So, anyways, it's all in there. And one of the initiatives that we looked at, because we are not just local to one region, we needed something that serviced multiple areas that we do business in. And so we found something, and you also remind me of the name, Susan. I know you're going to be able to remember it
It's
off the
called
top.
the Ticket to Dream Foundation.
That's what it is. And it's we were able to make the donations online. And we had a little incentive, like if we get so many donations, maybe the firm would chip in. And so we ended up raising money, and this particular initiative gives school supplies to foster children throughout the year. So yes, for back to school, but also we were told, once we did some research, these children sometimes get moved around and they aren't able to bring their school supplies with them. And so they don't have, when they go to the next placement, they need their supplies. And so they will do this throughout the year. So this was something that we've found that worked for us and that people really enjoyed giving to.
I'm going to jump in real quick. And one
Yeah.
of the key components, Jess, is that, when we started that, I think we were at maybe 3 or 4 committee members with having roughly 18 offices.
Yeah.
It would have been impossible for us to physically collect backpacks, crayons, and deliver them somewhere local. We just are not big enough and set up yet for that, or have like a MOF champion in each office. So being able to do this virtually was able to get more bang for our buck. I am so sorry about that pun, just a little. It is the Ministry of Fun. But be able to, reach these kids in all the areas where we do have offices and where, our attorneys are licensed. So that way we are making sure that we are doing as much good as we can while feeling good. You get a little boost. And particularly with that initiative, if you make a donation of any size, you get entered into a raffle. and I put together, I call them my McGlinchey adult school supplies. So whether that is, pens in our colors, post-it notes in our colors, the 6-can cooler, I don't care if you put your lunch in it, or tailgating supplies in it.
Yes.
So getting people to buy into, yep, I'll give $10 and then I get an entry into the raffle. That's excellent. You would not believe the number of people who submit just to be like, I want a chance to win whatever that cool thing is that they are raffling off this year.
Absolutely. Um, so two things. One, we have a question in the chat, which is the Snacket a physical form that is submitted or a template online? And it is how do we do it? We do it in an email and you click on it. Is it through a survey? I forget.
Yep.
This
So
is not my forte.
I just build the Snacket in Adobe Illustrator. It's just a bracket and the colors are all there. But then we do the voting via SurveyMonkey. So that first vote is really big. It is all 32 of the snacks, and then it kind of goes down each time. We do try to align the voting with when the games are played. With
Yes.
an asterisk that a lot of them are played over a weekend. So we will typically move the voting up to like a Thursday, Friday. We are not expecting people to log on a weekend to vote in a fun thing. We will adjust our timeline. But we do try to make sure that we are getting into that championship round when they are playing the games, since they seem to do that on weekdays.
Exactly. Also, one of the other, I guess points of the snack it is so that people love something to chat about. There is nothing that brings your coworkers into the hallway chatting more than, Kit Kat versus Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, and who like the passions that come out. And by the way, I'm seeing that in the chat. I just took a quick glance, but that's what you're doing in the chat is what we want to do throughout our offices, right? So that is exactly why this works, and it brings people together and it builds relationships. Um, so those are all good things. One thing, so I wanted to go back just quickly to the football pool. So I had hit on how we do the weekly pick'em pool. We do prizes, the three different prizes. And we would kind of send out, reminder, put in your picks, but we realized that there was some banter kind of going back and forth. And so we made a football pool distribution list. So basically you have to opt into the football pool and then you're put into this distribution list. And some people, by the way, don't even want to play. They just want to get the commentary. They want to be part of the witty banter. And so I do just a football pool write up. It has sort of evolved into a much more complex write up than maybe I even want it to be anymore. But I have a lot of fun with it. No, I do not watch every single game, but I do have fun. Giving my commentary on the game. Obviously, I root for the Bills and a couple of other teams. I live in Jacksonville. I'm a Jags fan. I used to be a Giants fan, but that's a story for another tragic day. I hope no one watched the game last night. So I'm gonna get some Boston hate in there because they won, and I hate that they are 11 and whatever they are. But I'm working past that. Clearly not well. But anyways, I'm moving on. So that sort of evolved into, writing about the pool. And I know that seems silly. And yes, it took up some of my time to write this sort of pool. But the interesting relationships that I've developed over time, people write me back or they say, oh, that was funny. Or I try like Taylor Swift, right? The whole Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing. That was like, it's eye rolling now, but when it happened, it was kind of fun. I added that into the write up a little bit. It gave some people that maybe weren't super big sports fans, but they were Swifties, right? So it gave some, I don't know, more places for people to connect, and then their personalities come out, and then they start bantering back and forth in the football pool distribution list. And even though it's a football distribution list, when we had the playoffs for baseball, people were getting in on that, on their teams and things like that. And so don't think of it just as a singular like win lose football pool, check which team I think is going to work. There's more that sort of comes out of that, that you get a lot of relationship building and fun and connection that can come out of that.
You also find out who the secret Swifties are in the firm.
Oh, yes, you absolutely do. I am not a Swiftie, but my sister has let me know that I am Swift adjacent. So apparently I do.
You
I'm
are.
not I'm not a hater, but I'm not a fan. I'm in between.
That's okay. I believe it isn't love, it isn't hate, it's just indifference.
That's I see what you did there, Susan. See what you did there.
Um,
All
let's see.
right.
Do we want to talk about our even years of Thanksgiving initiatives when we are
Yes.
not doing the cookbook? So
Yes.
we ended up doing every other year. So every even year, we do a virtual food fundraiser for Feeding America and Second Harvest Food Bank, since they reach so many states and everywhere where we have offices. Um, so every other year we do that. And then on the other years, we do the cookbook to kind of give everybody that, everybody's collecting food and cans and this. Well, I don't have it in me to go to 18 offices across the country and collect our cans and take them, but we are able to do this fundraiser to get the money into the hands of food banks in your area that can get the most bang out of their buck. We've seen the research that, they are able to just get way more food if you donate $5 than 5 cans of something. So we alternate those each year. It also helps us because the cookbook really is a labor of love. That is a lot of recipes to get into the cookbook to uh, not correlate, corroborate, collate. There we go.
Takes a village, people.
It does, it does. And so, with that, we also do the food fundraiser, in which case, we also do a similar thing where if you make a donation, you get an entry into a raffle for a prize. And if we get employees to donate up to a certain level, the firm will then match. And quite frequently, we will go double, sometimes 3 times what our initial goal is, just because people do get a little competitive. It's like, oh, well, we beat that goal and we still have another week. Can we do it? Can we do it again? So that's always just very fun and exciting to watch everybody's hearts grow when they are able to donate in the off years of the cookbook, while also not, asking for too many donations over and over, but you do get that little like happy buzz of it did a good thing. Yay.
Exactly. The other thing again, going back to the early years, we didn't have a very big budget. And so we wanted to acknowledge that people were participating, especially in things like sending in photos, right? Or, participating in the football pool. But that's a lot of people. So we tried to come up with some creative ways, to uh, give people something. And this was a Susan idea, and I think we used, I don't even know what we used. Maybe was it, what was the name of the company that we used? We use it for one of our Jack's ALA things too, and I forget the name of it.
Sticker
Sticker
mule.
Mule. So we started by using Sticker Mule, which, by the way, they have weekly deals that you can get your logo for almost a steal of a price. But we did stickers, which then evolved into pins. So this is our holiday. This is the holiday
Holiday photo call.
photo call. If you do that, you get a sticker or you get a pin. They have these little pins that look like this. So you can either put them on your lanyard or people use them for push pins. And that's
Yeah, I
what they
literally just
look
pulled mine
like.
off my bulletin board, but they're just
Yeah,
tiny little, that's
but
the
they're
mitten. You can see
ways.
that on the screen. It's better.
Absolutely.
Um,
And they end up all over the office. We have them on our bulletin board in our kitchen. People have them on their lanyards. It became this sort of currency at the firm, if you will. People wanted them and they wanted the sticker and they wanted all the things, but you had to
oh yeah.
participate in order to get the sticker
Yep.
or the pin.
And in fact, last year, one of the roadshow prizes, the same company will do little keychains.
Yep.
So we did the roadshow keychain with little workout Melvin, who's our internal mascot.
Hmm.
So people like carry around like their office keys, or they just have them clipped to their lanyards and their badge
Hmm.
holders. It's so much fun to see, who's got what today.
Yeah. And I mean, this was very, very little money that it took to produce these. And especially if you're watching sort of the sales, if you will, the weekly texts from Sticker Mule and all of that. Um, the other thing I will note is we use all of these things that we just talked about when we are talking to people in interviews for recruiting, our attorney recruiting department and our staff recruiting department. We use these Ministry of Fun initiatives all the time to talk about how you can have a place within McGlinchey right away. You can join any of these initiatives that we have, or like Susan said earlier, if you have an idea for an initiative, bring it forward. We will support you. Maybe somebody wants to start a knitting club someday, or who knows what's to come, right?
We've
We
talked
are on
about
board for
doing
all
like
of
a
that.
bad craft night where everybody just
Yes.
gets on Zoom from home with whatever
Yep.
craft they are working on and just, either show and tell or just talk.
Hmm.
Um,
And remember, we did I'm trying to think of what we called it. We did a song trivia one night. We were on Teams. I mean, there is just tons and tons and tons of different, very small things that you can do. And anything around, again, the national, we do National French Friday, any of the things that you want to try. And again, you can do it with larger offices, smaller offices, whatever makes your office tick, lean into that and go for it. Also, if you are, maybe one office just in a certain region, I'll give an example. This is something we do within my Jacksonville Legal Administrator group, which is not it's MOF adjacent. I steal ideas back and forth. But we have, and I've talked about this initiative a bunch of different times, but we have something called 904 Day here. That's the area code for Jacksonville. It is September 4th. It's celebrated 904. But we do all things local, city. So big firms have opportunities to do really large things, and the smaller firms, you have some real niche things you can pull off. So lean into the things that are in your regions or your areas. Those are easy ideas and things you can plan fun events around. Do we have a winner?
we have a winner. Chips and salsa have won the Fun is Not Illegal Snack It.
Wow.
I don't think Chips and Salsa has ever won the actual McGlinchey Snack It, so
It just won this year.
they would did they really?
It was
It
a
was?
Cinderella
Okay.
story.
Okay,
Cinderella story.
I think I gave up after my Kit Kats got knocked out. I was like
I
trying to
know
move
it's
those
very
votes for Kit
defeating.
Kats.
You get attached to a snack, and then when it's over, it's
I
hard to
did,
go
and then it was
on.
just like, well, I have nothing left to live for. I'm just gonna go drown my sorrows in my own Kit Kats. So anyway,
Oh
all
my
that to
God.
say, you can, this is not a one size fits all. You can definitely pick and choose the things that work for your company, your firm, your personalities. Um, I think our biggest lessons were you don't need a budget, you do need enthusiasm and authenticity. Starting small and growing intentionally is huge. Don't force something that is just falling flat over and over. Like it's okay to give that up and find something else that works.
Yeah. We say to
Because
meet people where they're at, right? You can't force things. And where the snack it is and McGlinchey Ministry of Fun, where it is right now is not where we started. So you do not have to be here out of the gate. It's the little things that kind of have grown into other ideas.
yep, this is 5 years old. The Ministry of Fun could be going to kindergarten at this point. So going from that little baby of a book club and a couple of Zoom ideas to all of the things that we do now. It's no wonder we're so tired. I just
I
realized.
know. Well,
But we
and
really have
honestly,
done a lot.
you put this on the slide sheet, but happy engaged employees help recruiting and hiring and telling the world how amazing your firm is and your company is. Don't forget that. Don't underestimate the value of your employees talking about how much they like working at your company.
That is huge, and they are not paid to say that. It just comes out quite frequently. We ask new attorneys, when they join, why McGlinchey? And, we do that for the little social cards and for their web bios, but quite frequently they are saying about the collegiality and how wonderful it is that everybody is so friendly and engaged, and it truly does feel like joining a family when you come to McGlinchey. And we like to think that the Ministry of Fun is a big part of that we let you be your silly, fun, authentic selves in addition to being your professional personalities.
Exactly.
I don't think I got anything else.
I think we're at
And we
time.
are
Thank you.
at
We are
time.
at time. This was great. Thank you, Susan and Jessica. Thanks so much for this. And just for everybody else, we're going to be sending out the recording so that you can watch it or share it to folks that were not able to join and they want to watch it too. So thanks everybody for your time.
Wonderful.
Thank you all so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Thank you all. Bye.